All right, folks, got more on the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden email scandal. Let's get into it. Hunter Biden email detailing alleged Chinese ties confirmed by source. So this is very important. We need to understand, are these emails, are these valid? The fact that it came with all those pictures gives us a good suspicion that they are. Let's see what this article says. It's from the Post. An email thread appears to show Hunter Biden pursuing lucrative energy business deal in China and possibly cutting his father in on the action has been verified as authentic by one of its recipients, Fox News reported Friday night. Now, I know some people want to say Fox News is not a reliable source, but I'm sorry, that's complete bunk. Fox News is one of our major news sources in this country. Say what you want. Is it right-wing leaning? Yes. You know, they always say fair and balanced. I never found Fox to be fair and balanced. However, Fox is fair and balancing. It's balancing to all the other views that we get that have nothing to oppose them, all the mainstream media views. So anyway, let's continue. The Fox report also casts light on a tantalizing mystery in the emails, as first raised by the Post, a reference to 10% of the proposed business equity perhaps going to the big guy. The big guy was a reference to Joe Biden, Fox revealed, citing unnamed sources. Now, this is going to continue to be the problem, the unnamed sources, and you're going to see this pops up again. Anyway, the Post has broken the news of Chinese wheeling dealings on Thursday, but the reference to the big guy had not been previously clarified. Fox's source verifying that emails are authentic is not named, but the network said the person was someone copied on the thread. This is very important, and this is what I've been saying. So can we find some other people that have been on these emails? Certainly they exist. I mean, they say they have tens of thousands of emails. There are other people on these emails. Surely somebody is there that can verify it. And it appears Fox found somebody. Hunter Biden in the email was identified as chair/vice chair, depending on agreement with CEFC, an apparent reference to the former Shanghai-based conglomerate CEFC China Energy Corporation. The email outlined a provisional agreement under which 80% of the equity or shares in the new company would be split among four people whose initials corresponded to the sender and three recipients, with the H apparently referring to Hunter Biden. The deal also lists 10 Jim, 10 held by H for the big guy. Sources told Fox News that the big guy is a reference to former vice president, Fox reported. Biden's campaign has denied wrongdoing. So nothing you need to know about this. This email is from 2017. This is after he was the vice president. After he was in office. But do they still have a hold on him? Is there something there they can hold on him? They're taking money from China. This guy wants to be the president and he's taking money from China. Is this continuing? I don't know, but this was 2017, not that long ago. All right, let's continue. Because now we're going to have a smear campaign to try to discredit the source, which is completely understandable, right? Even the Biden campaign is not denying the actual information, but we see a campaign to deny the veracity of the source. Okay, this is from Chris Hayes, of MSNBC. Very, very straight shooter. It's not really surprising at all. This was always the play, but it's still kind of head-spinning to watch all the players from 2016 run exactly the same hack, leak, smear up in 2020, even with everyone knowing exactly what's happening this time. Right, because, the email thing that happened in 2016, that had nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. That was just a Russian op, and Trump was trying to get Russian information, that famous Russian dirt on Hillary. Remember the Trump Tower? Remember that meeting that they had, right? Where they talked about adopted children. Remember that one? Yeah. And then they wanted to undo the Magnitsky Act. Yeah, that whole thing. Anyway, didn't seem like there was much more than that. That was the grand total of the dirt from the Russian collusion thing. Anyway, so that's Chris Hayes. And here we have another one. This is from Newsweek. Giuliani's drunk all the time. Giuliani is drunk all the time, and Russian disinformation campaigns are taking advantage. Trump's ex-lawyer, Michael Cohen. Oh my goodness. Certainly Michael Cohen is a reliable source. All right, let's look at it. Former fixer for President Donald Trump has said the president's current personal lawyer is susceptible to being manipulated by Moscow because he is drunk all the time. Michael Cohen has made the claim on MSNBC, where he spoke about MSNBC again, where he spoke about the White House reportedly being warned by U.S. intelligence that the former New York City mayor was susceptible to Russian disinformation about the Democratic presidential contender, Joe Biden. Yes, he's susceptible to disinformation, which, hey, you know what? Given that he's investigating, he might be. But the guy was a prosecutor. He took down the mob. He took down many members of the mob in New York City. He was a decent mayor, cleaned up a lot of the problems. I know a lot of people hate him, but he was okay until he got involved with Trump. Then all of a sudden, he went from America's mayor to drunk all the time. All right. The Associated Press reported the FBI is investigating whether foreign actors were behind emails published by the New York Post, purportedly showing communication between the vice president's son, Hunter Biden, pursuing business deals in China and the Ukraine. The purported Biden communications were obtained by Giuliani. And this is the whole thing. How did Giuliani get them? Where they dropped off? Was it Russians? The Russians again. Did they do this? I'm not sure. But you'll see later on that there's a story comes out that it seems pretty legit. Ari Melber, host of The Beat on MSNBC, asked Cohen, do you think Rudy Giuliani is being used as a tool and hack of the Russians? Whether or not passes a legal line, do you think that's wrong? Cohen replied, of course it's wrong. And the answer is yes, Cohen replied. Rudy is being played by the Russians. But playing by the Russians. Maybe. I was going to say BS, but maybe. He's 100% susceptible to being used by the Russians because the disinformation, he runs right back to President Trump like a child running to a parent saying, look what I have, look what I have. Good job, Michael Cohen. All right, let's look at the next thing. This is a tweet. We have David Folkenflik, NPR. And what does he say? Facebook, Twitter's handling of that New York Post story on the Biden's side. Let me start over. Facebook, Twitter's handling of that New York Post story on the Biden's aside. Why has the press shielded away? Why wouldn't it? Littered with red and yellow flags, piece was based on presumptions written by ex-Hannity producer, coordinated by Giuliani. Right. So you have a prosecutor and you have someone that's a producer from television. Oh, but it's Hannity. That's dirty. Giuliani, dirty. Biased? Yes, definitely Hannity biased. Giuliani? I don't know. He's the guy's personal lawyer. He's known Trump for a long time. Maybe. Byron York replies, what steps has NPR taken to try to verify the emails? Right. You're going to complain, but what have you done? It's the same story. Let's go after the people that are reporting it, and let's not look at the actual data. Let's not look at the actual emails. No, that's dangerous. And from what I understand, they want to say this is it's just a New York Post. Fox says that they have it, and they believe it's gotten around to a lot of the different organizations. Have they been sitting on it? All right, so this is from Zero Hedge. Yes, I know Zero Hedge, purportedly killed people from the coronavirus, and they're a far right, do I dare say alt-right organization. One weak thing about Zero Hedge is most of the articles come from Tyler Durden, and you can think of it as a blog. So Tyler Durden, in case you don't know, was Brad Pitt from Fight Club. First rule of Fight Club, we don't talk about Fight Club. Anyway. As the Hunter Biden laptop scandal threatens to throw the 2020 election into chaos with what appears to be solid, undisputed evidence of high-level corruption by former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter, the same crowd which peddled the Trump-Russia hoax is now suggesting that Russia is behind it all. Right, so you have this interesting dichotomy here. You got the people saying, look, it's the same idiots that are doing this disinformation against the people bringing out the data that did the Russian collusion hoax. And you got those people saying, look, it's the same people that were bringing up the Russian collusion stuff as being phony and having proof and going to the Russians and going to the Ukrainians, and they're trying to discredit it that way. So each are trying to discredit each other. All right, here was another tweet from Byron York. It showed that there was an exchange between our friend Representative Adam Schiff, who brought up some garbage about the Russian disinformation campaign again, and I believe he said something about having some proof in there again, just like he had with the Russian collusion for 4 years. He had proof. He had an impeachment. He did nothing. He had nothing. All right. Byron York replies, on CNN, Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff says, New York Post Hunter Biden story comes from the Kremlin. Anchor seems to agree. Who was that, Wolf Blitzer? Yeah, I guess Wolf had to pay for, spanking Nancy Pelosi the other day. Anchor seems to agree. Would be more persuasive if they provided evidence that, 1, story is false, which they can't do. 2, it comes from the Kremlin. Oh, yeah. Let's see the information that this comes from the Kremlin. I would love that. Of course, now this is coming down to the FBI, right? Which is so funny because you remember 2016. We waited to hear from the FBI on whether Hillary Clinton was going to be indicted. I think it was indicted. If anything, our friend James Comey came out and said, well, it looks like she did something illegal. It wasn't illegal. Anyway, let's continue on. We have Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat from Connecticut. He has gone full tinfoil. Chris Murphy, Joe Biden, and all of us should be furious that media outlets are spreading what is very likely Russian propaganda. I've seen the intel. The mainstreaming of misinformation is Russia's 2020 goal. Yeah, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 1966, 1960, whatever. Yes, they've been trying to sow disinformation and discord in this country forever. Russia knew it had to play a different game than 2016, so it built an operation to cull virulently pro-Trump Americans as pseudo-assets. I'm a pseudo-asset, I guess. So blind in their allegiance to Trump. Well, I'm not that allied with Trump. Anyway, that they willingly launder Kremlin-constructed anti-Biden propaganda. Giuliani was a key target. Anyway, so this article goes through about the source of the information. Here we go. Yeah, if one looks at the actual facts of the case, in particular that Hunter Biden appears to have dropped his own laptops off at a computer repair shop, signed a service ticket, and the shop owner approached the FBI first and Rudy Giuliani last after Biden failed to pick them up, the left's later Russia conspiracy theory is quickly debunked. That's right, folks. This wasn't just straight from the Russians to this dude, to Giuliani, to the Post, to you. This guy tried to go to the FBI first. Let's look into it. This is the story of American patriot and honorable man, John Paul Mac Isaac, who tried to do the right thing and is now being unfairly and maliciously slandered as an agent of foreign intelligence, specifically Russia. He is not an agent or spy for anyone. He is his own man. How do I know? I have known his dad for more than 20 years. I've known John Paul's dad as Mac. Mac is a decorated Vietnam veteran who flew gunships in Vietnam, and he continued his military service with an impeccable record until he retired as an Air Force colonel. The crews of those gunships have an annual reunion, and Mac usually takes John Paul along, who volunteers his computer and video skills to record and compile the stories of those brave men who served their country in a difficult war. This story is very simple. Hunter Biden drops off 3 computers with liquid damage in a repair shop in Wilmington, Delaware on April 12, 2019. The owner, John Mac Isaac, examined 3 and determined that 1 was beyond recovery, 1 was okay, and the data on the hard drive of the 3rd could be recovered. Hunter signed the service ticket, and John Paul Mac Isaac repaired the hard drive and downloaded the data. During this process, he saw some disturbing images and a number of emails that concerned Ukraine, Burisma, China, and other issues. So, this was part of his work. I did computer work in the past. Whether you're looking to see things or not, you come across them when you're dealing with people's stuff. You try not to look at them. You try not to think about it, but you go on. I mean, at one point I did work for Dominatrix. I fixed her computers. That was about it. Okay. Anyway, with the work completed, Mr. Mac Isaac prepared an invoice, sent it to Hunter Biden, and notified him that the computer was ready to be retrieved. Hunter did not respond. In the ensuing 4 months, May, June, July, and August, Mr. Mac Isaac repeated efforts to contact Hunter Biden. Biden never answered and never responded. More importantly, Biden stiffed John Paul Mac Isaac. That is, he didn't pay the bill. Now, maybe the bill was kind of rolled up and... Anyway, when the manufacturer... That was not fair. I have to tell you, that was not fair of me. Anyway, and I don't want to deride Hunter Biden for having a problem. We know addicts, and it's not a great path. So I do apologize for that, kind of. Anyway, when the manufactured Ukraine crisis surfaced in August of 2019, now that's opinion that it's manufactured. I think there were actual issues with Ukraine and what the Trumps did and how they approached that whole issue. Yes, obviously there were legitimate problems and legitimate things to be pursuing in Ukraine regarding the Bidens. So when the manufactured Ukraine crisis surfaced in August of 2019, John Paul realized he was sitting on radioactive material that might be relevant to the investigation. After conferring with his father, Mac, and John Paul decided that Mac would take the information to the FBI office in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Mac walked into Albuquerque FBI office and spoke with an agent who refused to give his name. Mac explained the material he had, but he was rebuffed by the FBI. He was told basically to get lost. Now listen, I know FBI people, people who work the desks, people who work the phones, they get a lot of garbage that comes in. And they have to discern what's real, what's not. So they have to make some judgment calls. But you'll see they must have written it down. They must have taken the report. 2 months past then, out of the blue, the FBI contacted John Paul Mac Isaac. Man, John Paul Mac Isaac, that's a long name. 2 FBI agents from the Wilmington FBI office, Joshua Williams and Mike DeZielak, came to John Paul's business. He offered immediately to give them the hard drive. No strings attached. Agents Williams and DeZielak declined to take the device. So it's still in his hands. 2 weeks later, the intrepid agents called and asked to come and image the hard drive. John Paul agreed, but instead of taking the hard drive or imaging the drive, they gave him a subpoena. It was part of a grand jury proceeding, but neither agent said anything about the purpose of the grand jury. John Paul complied with the subpoena and turned over the hard drive and the computer. In the ensuing months, starting with the impeachment trial of President Trump, he heard nothing from the FBI and knew that none of the evidence from the hard drive had been shared with President Trump's defense team. How he knows that, I don't know at that point. The lack of action and communication with the FBI led John Paul to make the fateful decision to contact Rudy Giuliani's office and offer a copy of the drive to the former mayor. Let's see, Hunter Biden, for some unexplained reason, never responded, never asked for the computer, but that changed last Tuesday, October 13, 2020. A person claiming to be Hunter Biden's lawyer called John Paul Mac Isaac and asked for the computer to be returned. Now, this is something I saw on Crowder the other day, Stephen Crowder's show, Louder with Crowder. He had Giuliani on, and he talked about how he had both the receipt that Hunter Biden had signed, a copy of it, and he also mentioned that the lawyers for Hunter Biden came to this John Paul Mac Isaac asking for the laptop. Why is he asking for the laptop if there's nothing on there that's real? Why? Just to defend himself against Russian disinformation? That has nothing to do with him? Anyway, John Paul, acting under Delaware law, understood that Hunter's computer became the property of his business 90 days after it had been abandoned. At no time did John Paul approach any media outlet or tabloid offering to sell salacious material. When the FBI finally responded to his call for help, John cooperated fully and turned over all material requested. So, this is the source of it. It seems that if you believe this, Tyler Durden, who we don't really know who it is, knows the father of this shop owner. And this shop owner got the materials. He tried to get back to Hunter Biden, say, hey, your stuff's ready. The guy never responded, never paid. Under Delaware law, he was able to keep it. He saw the stuff that was on there. It concerned him. He contacted the FBI. FBI did nothing with it. They sat on it. The impeachment trial was happening, and it was all around this. It was all around this, and nothing happened. The guy was frustrated, it seems, contacted Rudy Giuliani, and you know where the rest of it went. And that was from what, December, from what I understand? Anyway, so how does Biden respond to all this? He was finally asked about it after having no questions at that town hall meeting the other day, which is absolutely ridiculous that he had nothing asked. He could have just done a straight out denial. So someone from CBS, where is this? Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden was finally asked about the explosive New York Post report that alleges emails show his son made millions trading on his father's influence. His response? I have no response. Fat. I might resemble that. Anyway, Mr. Biden, what is your response to the New York Post story about your son, sir? Erickson asks. This is Bo Erickson. I know you'd ask, Biden fired back. I have no response. It's another smear campaign, right up your alley. Those are the questions you always ask. You CBS, you're always coming after me. And that CNBC, that MSNBC, always coming after me. Always coming after me. Fat. Anyway, where's this story? Where is it in the mainstream media today? Here's New York Times. Front page right now. It ain't there. Still ain't there. Washington Post, two major newspapers, ain't there. Where is it? Why isn't this big? Why aren't they diving into it? Are they behind the scenes? I certainly hope so. I suspect they're more looking to bury it. Who does this remind you of? If you remember Star Trek Deep Space Nine, one of my favorite characters in that show, Quark. Quark, yeah, he's the kind of guy, when he did something wrong, he'd just be like begging. So he'd be like, please, please. Anyway, if you like the video, please like it, please share it, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for watching.